Part 2 of Puzzle Pieces Testimony. Let's go back to my grammar school. I was just a kid. In 8th grade, I received the number 21 jersey. My coach was Mary Beth Rokovich, who was the co-worker of my mom at the law offices of Gunty and McCarthy. This law firm and their IT vendor, Empist, headquartered in Chicago, cyberstalked us. They were doing more than cyberstalking, but we will get into that in a bit. Mary Beth was good friends with the office manager, Kathy Bickelhoff. The office manager encouraged the employees to participate in this crime. Even her own kids participated. Mary Beth had a daughter who helped coach us. Her daughter would call me Chris and not Christina. She purposely did this because Chris has 5 letters in the name. In high school, classmates who were placed to set me up would also call me Chris, even though I never told anyone to call me Chris. I never went by that name. I have reason to believe they called me Chris because they couldn't call me Christ. On December 12th, 2025, I received a TikTok that said, Paige, oh, let me show you my dance. Paige was a high school student who helped Mary Beth coach our team. Her name was purposely chosen in the TikTok. They also sent the TikTok on December 12th on purpose because when you reverse the number, it is 21. From 2021 to 2026 is 5 years. We have reason to believe that and murder was supposed to happen on December 26, 2025. Watch my video, A Crime Built on Biblical References. This video will explain the events that happened around that date. I have reason to believe that there was a gang being planned against me sooner. Eric Lamb with EEOC randomly used the word jazz in a phone conversation that my mom documented back in an email to him. On April 19th, 2021, Hannah sent a meme to our group chat that said, jazz for your soul. Before this, Hannah sent a meme that said, there's holes in my Crocs so my swag can breathe. Why the word jazz? Eric Lamb with EEOC would say in a phone conversation with my mom, can you get that to me in 5 days? Peeking around the curtain, random use of the word jazz, and mention of a skeleton crew. We believe he was chosen as the investigator because his name Eric matches my mom's brother's name Eric. Also, the Bureau of Internal Affairs had someone named Mary to be the investigator because my grandma's name is Mary. Mary Beth is also the one who said she would take a bullet for these kids in an email and then quit the team. Mary Beth also showed my mom a picture of a minor at the school she coached and told my mom that this person sent a nude photo to a boy and it got out. My mom doesn't recall anything like that happening at the school. In my freshman year at Mother McCauley, I tried out for the volleyball team. I noticed I was pushed to the side and never looked at. Knowing what I know now, it was done on purpose. There are adults coordinating, participating, and helping to carry out this plan where I am not to have anything. Even my college admissions were messed with to keep me near Illinois. Investigate and you will find this to be true. TikTok suggested by Empist. On December 17th, 2025 at 10:22 a.m., I received Riley. It was made in one take, by the way. Included is a bandaged heart emoji. Then it says, let me know if it is terrible. Riley, the name, is the stepbrother of a girl who was sexually exploited. She is the one who asked me to do a sexual act on her when we were very little. Underneath this TikTok is one that says, this is between us, and then another suggested TikTok by a Kristen, and it says, after years of research, I figured it all out, #parents. Then another TikTok under that is one from Angela. This just happened to me last night, and you bet I am making it my whole personality right now because the world is gonna know. Stop letting these boys get away with this BS. These are real TikToks that were not made for me. They were just manipulated by Empist to forward to me as messages. When I looked at the Angela TikTok, the girl who posted wrote, are you man enough? But it is me knowing I'm about to get SA'd. Empist slyly used part of our names in the reference to parents. Kristen for Christina, Angela for Angelique, and #parents for my grandparents. Ruben Jimenez, aka Junior, Oney, Facebook, the one who started it. The rape and murder was planned to be filmed. Mike sent a screenshot to my mom of his profile views on Facebook back in 2022, which exposed puzzle pieces of the crime being planned. On January 22nd, 2022, 6:57 a.m., my mom sent Mike a text that her car alarm went off around 6:30 a.m. that morning. She wrote that she thinks someone was trying to steal it because you have to put force for the alarm to go off. We have documented that for years we have been harassed with ongoing fireworks. Also, we recently documented that the wall-mounted fire alarm in our hotel room was purposely set off by an employee twice around 6:40 a.m. on December 14th, 2025. At 7:53 a.m., Mike replied with a screenshot of his Facebook account. Mike wrote in a text to my mom regarding his Facebook account, "Those people who looked me up. See Ruben's name." Ruben Jimenez appeared as number 5 in the screenshot. Above his profile is a profile named Oney Gillen. We have reason to believe this screenshot was manipulated on purpose. Oney for the number 1, Ruben Jimenez started this crime, and Gillen for reference to Gil. Read the complaint for more information regarding Gil. Under Ruben Jimenez's name is another account named Dan Wood. I believe the word wood was a plan to take me into the woods. Underneath his profile is an account with the name Kimberly Ann. Is Ann referring to my mom, Angelique? Note that Empis manipulates images so the names appear in a specific order. This does not mean that these accounts or any real names shown in the screenshot are part of the actual crime. The Kimberly Ann profile picture is that of the Packers. Football. Why does the reference to football keep coming up? On the top of the screenshot is that of a bell with the number 31. 31 is a number we are harassed with. My mom's first day at Gunty and McCarthy was October 31st, 2007. Why are we harassed with the number 3 and 1? The battery percentage is 28%. We have reason to believe that Ruben Jimenez, aka Junior, started this crime when my mom was 28 years old. I was 2 years old and my brother was 7 years old. My mom recalls that when my brother was 7 years old, he played the song Dancing Queen. Junior yelled at him saying, "Stop listening to that song. What, are you gay?" We now recognize this as staged, since I have documented incidents of little girls being very inappropriate with me when I was very little. I know adults put them up to this. On October 24th, 2024, when I was piecing this together, my mom's brother Mike came into the house and yelled out 3 times. The number 3 itself has been used repeatedly as a harassment number. Not to mention, in high school, there were 2 boys that I had contact with, and I have reason to believe they are both gay, which raises the question of why they were placed in contact with me. On May 7th, 2022, Ava Spreitzer posted on social media, "Dancing Queen just turned 17. We have reason to believe that Ava was correlating this date, the number 7, and this song, the same one Junior called gay, with the day Junior made his comment about Dancing Queen. This became another puzzle piece showing how young my brother was when he was being groomed into a cult, and how symbolic references were being used to reinforce harassment patterns. Ava reinforced the number 7 again with the age of 17. This also reminds me of when Sydney Lang, childhood friend, sent me a video of her playing on the piano the song 7 years old. I have reason to believe that Ava and Sydney were giving me puzzle pieces pointing back to when my brother was exploited at the age of 7. His participation is not the same as that of my classmates. He is within the family, which makes him far more vulnerable. Being so young when this began, he was exposed to harm in a way that carried deeper risks, both because of his age and because family involvement made it impossible for him to separate himself from the situation. In my high school group chat with Hannah Hayes, Claire Joyce, and Kiara, there was a particular conversation that stood out to me involving the number 7. Kiara wrote, "Who's 7?" And Claire responded, "I wouldn't be able to live without my dad if I was 7. Jesus." The way they brought up the number 7 in that context felt like part of a larger pattern of symbolic references connected to the age that I am piecing together. At DePaul University, there was a student named Angela Galgano. I was lured to her account because her profile picture was Britney Spears, which stood out since my mom had a fake account with the last name Spears, something that cyber stalkers were aware of. Angela posted several questionable photos. On June 18th, 2023, she shared an image where a man's shirt said gay dad and Angela's shirt said thought daughter. The caption read, "The Father's Day serve you didn't know you needed." In another photo, the man had added 2 stickers to his shirt that said proud. These posts felt staged and symbolic, especially given the timing and the way they tied into themes of family, sexuality, and public labeling. The use of Britney Spears imagery, the Father's Day reference, and the pairing of gay dad with thought daughter all appeared designed to provoke and connect back to the cyberstalking pattern I've documented. In another post by Angela, someone commented under the username Ellen Exanthropy saying, "Can I get your digits, Ma?" Angela replied, "Serve me court papers." The user then responded, "Okay, we'll be subpoenaing you." The name Ellen stood out because it is the name of my mom's half-sister's mom. The exchange continued with reference to all of the horrible things I did. This photo seems to be missing from our devices. We believe this was another staged conversation, deliberately constructed to provoke and connect back to family ties. On March 21st, 2023, Angela posted a photo of herself and another girl lying on the grass as if deceased. The caption read, "Anika is 21, photo dump." This post again referenced the number 21, reinforced by the date itself, March 21st. The repetition of the number and the imagery of death felt symbolic and intentional, echoing the broader harassment pattern I have documented. The name Anika also stood out to me because it seems connected to my mom's name, Angelique, similar to how the name Kimberly Ann from the Packers profile mentioned earlier appeared to echo that same pattern. My mom recalls that a coworker at Gunty and McCarthy said Jim, who was one of the partners at the firm, called the staff minions. This remark connects directly to the broader harassment pattern, especially when paired with Angela Galgano's social media post holding a balloon with 2 minions and the word party. The overlap between a workplace comment from a law firm partner and a staged online image suggests intentional mirroring rather than coincidence, reinforcing the symbolic harassment motive. In the same post, Angela wrote, "The American dream has been fulfilled. Congratulations, Tio," followed by 31 comments. The name Tio may be symbolic coding for CEO, suggesting leadership or funding behind the harassment. This adds another layer of intentional reference, linking power and authority motifs to the broader pattern. On February 10th, Hannah Haymaker posted a picture of her dad with the caption, "Haymaker and Junior had to make an appearance at the father-daughter dance." This wording stood out because she referred to her dad as Junior. My dad also went by Junior, which makes the phrasing feel unusual and intentional. Even if her father did use that nickname, the way she wrote it is not how people typically describe their own parents in a casual post. The choice of words suggests a deliberate reference connecting back to the broader pattern of symbolic overlaps I have been documenting. Mike, my mom's brother, named his dog Snow. Mike sent my grandma a picture of Snow on January 2nd, 2026. This is the first time we were made aware that he adopted a dog. From the photo, the dog looks black and brown, not white. This ties to Patrick Winters in the theme of winter. On January 1st, 2026, as we were about to leave for Michigan, a teenage boy approached our car with the dog and asked if the dog was ours. He said the dog had walked up to him and he was trying to find out who it belonged to. Winter motif. We have reason to believe that and murder was planned to be committed during the winter time. When on social media, a username appears as D1Winter. Under one of the posts, the comment "Yeah twin" was made, followed by _.kin6 replying "Yes sir." These exchanges further embed the winter motif into staged online interactions, linking names, numbers, and coded language to the harassment pattern. The inclusion of the word twin is especially notable unbelievable, as I have been documenting repeated references to twins throughout the broader pattern. In addition, a classmate from grammar school posted in the bleak midwinter. In the photo, someone is peeking behind a wall, another deliberate and correlating image that reinforces the same motive. This connects directly to the larger framework we are documenting. The crime is being staged and symbolically coded through motifs that are also tied to biblical references. The layering of winter, twins, king/queens, and deliberate phrasing shows how the harassment pattern is not random, but constructed with intentional symbolism rooted in both cultural and biblical themes. Patrick and Riley, names of two of my brother's friends, used to throw us off. Family connection. My brother and my dad share the same name. Raymond was trying to point the finger at my brother to throw us off. Billy and Zinga reposted the video titled, "We Miss You, Gil," which I interpret as mocking my death. Note that Patrick Winters and myself never followed each other on Snapchat, so they had Billy and Zinga repost it for me to see. Middle fingers given to the camera. That is not someone you miss. Exactly what people were put up to doing to me in person and through Snapchat. My grandma was scheduled to leave Michigan on January 3rd, 2026. My mom and I drove her back to Chicago and returned to Michigan on January 5th. We ended up leaving the house after 1:30 a.m. Michigan time on January 6th, 2026 to Chicago because we knew they, Ruben aka Jr., Raymond, and Mike were headed there. We only knew to leave the house through divine intervention. If this crime did take place, we have reason to believe that they would have planned out my grandpa and grandma's murder afterwards. On January 6, 2026, when my mom and I returned home from Michigan between 3 to 4 a.m., there was one pair of gloves discarded by the porch steps. My mom made a comment that the gloves reminded her of the O.J. Simpson trial. Although there were workers digging outside the home, no one discarded their gloves on the ground. I received a manipulated TikTok on January 7, 2026. The notification was IOZ CHHGA 35630. We have reasons to believe that CHHGA is for Chicago. On December 20th, 2025, Empis manipulated my TikToks, this time with Freedom by Kane Walker, Part 2, #blue. On January 8th, 2026, Empis manipulated our search button and put blue shoes in a blue microphone. On January 6th, 2026, Raymond left his muddy shoes outside of the house. Raymond does not live with us. My grandparents said the gloves and shoes belonged to Raymond. In college, my brother thought he had cancer. My mom's brother Mike recently told my grandparents that he has cancer. My grandma told us the story of how her aunt had cancer and believes she got cancer because someone butchered her during a procedure. When my grandma told us this story once again on Christmas 2025, Empa set her phone off. In grammar school, we went to Florida to visit Eric, my mom's brother, and his family. Eric told us that there is a ghost in the house, that someone was murdered in the room that we sleep in. He said he got the house for cheaper because of the murder, and that's why he was able to afford it. Eric told us that my mom's dad was by his father. This story is untrue. Eric also told us that their cousin was by her brother and that the family felt she deserved it because of the way she dressed. We find it strange that the focus was on the way she dressed in light of a very serious crime. My mom recalls one of her dad's sisters telling her that this specific cousin dressed inappropriately and that she clashed with her mom. She never mentioned she was. On December 26, 2025, our next door neighbor changed their Santa number sign to 58 days. Then later in the day, around 7 p.m., they changed it to 57 days. 57 days correlates with February 21st, reference to the number 21. On August 23rd, 2025, our next door neighbor held what looked like a funeral party. We observed that everyone wore black and had balloons on their head in the shape of genitals. They had 2 balloons in front of the house, both number 9. We believe that one balloon was to represent almost a decade of being on my personal electronics. We believe I was cyberstalked in 2016, and my mom and grandparents were cyberstalked starting in 2010, possibly sooner. The other number 9 balloon we believe was to represent the 9 adult family members originally involved. An investigation will uncover way more family members involved. Some of the people involved include Ruben Jimenez, aka Jr., Jr.'s family, Raymond Hernandez, Nancy Hernandez, Hernandez, Eric Hernandez, Anna Hernandez, Mike Hernandez, Renee Brazo, Eric Brazo, Sandra Genovaldi, and Madeline Genovaldi, who has since passed away. On the day of the funeral party, my mom and I were sitting outside with our dogs when a couple of guests asked whether our dog was male or female. We believe these questions were intended to correlate with Nancy's pregnancy, symbolically referencing whether she was having a girl or a boy. My mom recalls a phone conversation with Raymond in which he stated that he would not enroll his child in school because he believes it is too easy to indoctrinate children. During the same conversation, he shared a story about Nancy misreading her best friend's gender reveal announcement, mistakenly identifying the gender because she was confused by the X and Y notation. This exchange occurred prior to the neighbor's party. He also stressed that he will be in Michigan next year. During the funeral party, a man stood awkwardly on the sidewalk and stopped near where my mom was sitting. He held his phone in a way that appeared to be recording her. When my mom said out loud to me to get my phone and record him back, he immediately walked away. We believe this incident was deliberate, staged, connected to prior harassment we have documented involving Mike, including derogatory language and inappropriate conduct directed at me when I was a child. On this day, while my mom was outside with her dog, a woman drove by holding her phone out as if recording her and audibly said, "Boo Boo." This is significant because Boo Boo is Raymond's childhood nickname, suggesting the incident was deliberately staged to reference him. On multiple occasions, individuals have deliberately taken out their phones and recorded us. Behavior we believe was inappropriate and intentionally staged. My mom recalls that Raymond made a reference to her that things are either black or white, and then Empis would post zebras on my laptop. This was said when he went with her on her third visit to the Chicago FBI field office. A federal employee impersonated an FBI agent and wouldn't let her into the building. On April 25th, 2025, 11:23 a.m., my mom wrote a text to Raymond and said, "You know, he wasn't a real FBI agent." Then, at 11:26 a.m., my mom received a prank text message that read, "Urgent appeal. America's on the line, Raymond. We need 1 million signatures today." The phone number is 855-659-2474. Now, back to Empis. They did more than cyberstalk us. We have reason to believe they were the lookouts for the crime that was to be committed against me, my mom, and my grandparents. We have reason to believe that they were to let Junior and my mom's brother know when it was a good time to enter the home. For more than a decade, they accessed all of our personal information and gave it out to the public. They violated us in every way possible. They inappropriately watched us through our phones, laptops, and computers. They stalked our every move. They violated me as a child and continued to do so in my adulthood. I wasn't the only child exploited. They monitored our finance and worked at destabilizing our home financially. They helped sabotage every aspect of our lives. There is a site that is blacklisting us, and they are blocking us from seeing it. Investigate present and past partners, associates, and employees at the law offices of Gunty and McCarthy. Expose those who participated and those who knew and did nothing. Hold them all accountable. Arrest child predators. This includes the judicial system. Expose all the judges involved. Look at the docket. Judge Harjani sealed our complaint from the public because it exposes a crime. Judge Harjani dismissed our case and gave us 30 days to amend, which contradicts the sealing. We requested reassignment to Judge Kendall, who has experience in child exploitation, and were denied. On December 31st, 2025, Judge Kendall signed a filing that goes out to everyone who has an active case in the court system. It was officially filed on January 1st, 2026, New Year's Day. This also became docket number 31 for us. This was done 2 days before we believed the murders were to be committed on January 3rd, 2026. 3-in-1. Investigate Judge Kendall, Judge Durkin, Chief Judge Ruben Castillo, Judge Harjani, and then you will find out that many more judges are involved. On January 11th, 2026, we have reason to believe that Junior, Raymond, and Mike were to go to the Chicago home afternoon to harm us. On January 11th, 2026, around 10:38 a.m., God warned us that they were coming to the house and that we were to leave. God's warnings to us intensify as time passes. At 11:57 a.m., we were in the car warming it up when, through divine intervention, we were signaled to leave now. We also want to document a major shift in our family during 2016. My mom's half-sister, Renee Brazo, disappeared from communication around that time, possibly sooner, and we have not heard from her since. Her husband, Eric Brazo, worked in high-level risk and fraud management roles, positions that naturally place someone in professional circles with executives, vendors, and people with authority. We want to be clear that we never met Eric or spoke with him. We are simply noting that the timing of Renee's disappearance, combined with Eric's professional background, became another puzzle piece in our lived experience as we tried to understand the larger pattern. Investigators need to find out who made the call to the law offices of Gunty and McCarthy to get involved and who was the partner that took the call. Investigators need to find out who is putting together all the puzzle pieces throughout the years. My mom also recalls a moment when her brother Mike was at the house and told my grandpa that Renee lives by MC Hammer. He wanted it to look like a slip. As far as my mom, my grandparents, and I knew, no one had been in contact with Renee at all. This connected to another pattern involving my childhood friend, Emily Lovato. I had not spoken to Emily in years, and her family had moved away. Then, the summer before my senior year, her mom, Michelle Barton, unexpectedly called my grandma asking if my grandpa was available to do work. None of us had spoken to Michelle in years, so the call stood out. When my grandma asked about Michelle, Michelle said she was in nursing school. Later, I found Emily's social media and realized that what was said on the phone did not match what I was seeing online. It felt like the call was meant to direct us to Emily's accounts. Emily was not in nursing school, so why did she make that up? When I returned to school, I noticed students in one of my classes mentioning the name Emily, talking loudly about a dorm room and a boyfriend. On Emily's account, it looked like she had an apartment, not a dorm, and a boyfriend. The timing and the way it was said was deliberate. When I was little, Emily was the first person to ditch me on my birthday, and she acted out with me in ways that were inappropriate. On another social media account we found around 2023, Emily was posing while licking a hammer. Around that same time, my mom and I were in Michigan, and during one of our walks, we saw a hammer lying on the ground in a strange, out-of-place way. On Hannah Hayes' Pinterest, she pinned a photo of a hammer, and on the hammer, it says, "I am your daughter." This was when we started to pick up on Renee's involvement. It wasn't just the photo, but a lot of information we were coming across on social media. All of these details became another set of puzzle pieces in the larger pattern we were trying to understand. I also have a childhood photo of Emily and me where she was pretending to lick an oversized ice cream cone. Her photo licking the hammer was mimicking the photo of the ice cream cone she took with me. It was interesting to us that Mike mentioned MC Hammer, Hannah pinned a photo of a hammer, and then Emily appeared online licking a hammer. On the same account, the username said daddy_issues.o, and the bio said, "Your mom's. Why you stalking me?" The wording stood out because we were the ones feeling watched and monitored, and it made us question where this behavior started and who encouraged it. These moments became part of a broader pattern we were trying to piece together. Interpretation. Each of these puzzle pieces were placed deliberately. Lasers, songs, TikTok posts, names, pets, seasons, and even video titles. They all form a coded narrative. The repetition of names, the winter motif, and the staged references point to a plan that was meant to be pieced together.